This is a message to you, Boris Johnson. I'm going to leave a link to my latest video under this, and I sincerely hope that the good people of Britain from all walks of life, and especially the people in offices of power in Britain, now stand up and be counted, because as far as I'm aware, Mr. Johnson, PM, looking at the evidence, your party is lawfully suspected and accused now of rigging the 2019 postal vote in order to give yourselves a landslide win so that you could control Parliament and get along with your hard Brexit that is going to earn billions for your offshore pals, corporate financial buddies who are all betting against Britain's economy and against Britain's currency, the pound, and stand to make billions in profits the lower the pound falls and the worse our economy crashes. And all of that equates to hundreds, thousands, if not millions of people's, British citizens' lives and livelihoods. How many people are you expecting to kill off? Why have you stockpiled on body bags? Why have you planned for martial law? What government needs martial law for a Brexit that the people allegedly voted for? By what right are you serving the Crown above and beyond the interests of the British people? Because the Crown is taking over Britain to turn it into yet another Crown-controlled tax haven, and the British people robbed of sovereignty, democracy and all their rights. And they were lied to, and even you employed the BBC and the media all working together to distract and now fearmonger the British public on COVID-19, which all the evidence now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is telling us that the whole thing has been exaggerated and exploited by people like you, Mr. Johnson, to give yourself a right to produce that despicable coronavirus bill, in which effectively you have criminalised every single strain of coronavirus, haven't you? Just by the title and by stating in that bill that coronavirus means COVID-19. That is what you have done. With your dirty elections, your dirty Brexit campaign, and then finally this, which is just, the result is ridiculous. That you think that the British people are going to swallow this, and then swallow that all of us just line up to be pushed over the edge of a cliff. That you've shut down our NHS on the pretext of protecting everybody from COVID-19. You've murdered people by denying them healthcare. People who would be walking around today if they'd been able to get their cancer treatment, if they'd been able to get their emergency operations, if just they'd been able to go and see their doctor. The lockdown has killed far more people than COVID-19. You've criminalised coronavirus, stating in your bill that coronavirus means COVID-19 and sending that out to all the doctors and hospitals. Anybody suspected of having so much as a cold, any coronavirus, showing even the slightest symptom, or if they test positive for so much as the common cold, we'll just assume that it's COVID-19. That is what is going on. Did you think, did you really believe your own Eton boys hype that, you know, the common people are all stupid, ignorant cattle? Well, I don't want to wait until the worst hits and this country is basically on the brink of civil war. I don't want to see children placed at even more risk than your lockdowns have placed children, women and children especially, at terrible risk. They've suffered attack, they've suffered even murder directly through this lockdown. And you never ever took them into account when you decided to lock everybody in their homes. You made no provision whatsoever for women and children suffering domestic violence. The way you've handled this whole COVID affair is despicable and disgusting, and it's tantamount to murder, because you knew what you were doing. Do not tell me that all you people in Whitehall, that you've all just kept your mouths shut. Well, it's time to stand up, because this is war, and you have committed an act of war against Britain, Boris Johnson, on behalf of the corporate crown and its corporate tax haven territories that are foreign lands. They have nothing whatsoever to do with Britain and the British people and Britain's Parliament. As you repeatedly claim when you were asked about the Panama Papers, oh, that's got nothing to do with the British government. It's got nothing to do with Britain. It's a private entity. It's owned by the Crown. And now the Crown wants to take over Britain. After my grandfather gave his life for this country. What? So it can be handed over to the Crown to turn it into yet another of its Crown territory tax havens? Your government has committed an act of war against the British people, against Britain as a democracy, as a united kingdom, now threatening to rebuild a hard border across Ireland, trying to stir up the trouble there once again about the IRA. It's all there suddenly the IRA's all over the media. Stirring up antagonism among the British military now, charging and prosecuting actually retired soldiers for alleged crimes that they committed while they were in Northern Ireland. What's that for? Just to stir up the ante? To get us warring again against ourselves while you lot swan off into bringing your 3 million financial experts in, professionals to run your new EU tax haven bloody businesses. How long has this plot been going on? Is why every single city centre in Britain is full of brand new built empty offices. Because how long have you had this in the planning? And who have you been planning with? Why was Netanyahu at number 10 the day after you unlawfully prorogued Parliament after lying to the Queen? And I don't hold the Queen personally responsible for what her Crown Corporation's doing. She probably doesn't even have half a clue most of the time. But there are a lot of global financial interests around the Crown's tax havens, aren't they? And they're what this is all about. They're what the whole Brexit thing is about. The British people are not going to be given sovereignty, are they? They're going to be robbed of sovereignty. They're going to be robbed of rights. And you're going to stamp on them with all the hatred that you and your class, your privileged class of the ultra-rich and elite of Britain, have always held. The contempt you feel against even your own voters. In fact, you laugh at them. I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly your mentality. How you scoff at the British. Oh, look at them. Yes, look at them all. Attacking each other over masks. And, yeah. Oh, let's play the race card. Let's get the race divide in there. What else? What else can we employ the BBC and our mainstream media to stir up, to get the British people attacking each other? No, you have committed an act of war. And I personally, my health has suffered under rule of your government. I've been waking up and all with flashbacks of my childhood, because this is what I am living in now. I am being governed. Instead of my home, it's my whole nation governed by the same psychology of the insane alleged dad I had when I was a child. But it's not my home. No, my home is a perfectly nice place. I have lovely neighbours. I live in a lovely place. But my nation now is governed effectively by my dad. By drunken, gambling, heartless, callous, child abusing criminals who will happily rob people and see them thrown into the street and die, even their own veteran soldiers that have fought for them. Well, I sincerely hope that the people of this country do rise up and prevent your illegal, criminal, hard Brexit that will put millions of lives at risk, that will deny people healthcare. And not just people. No, we're talking about people's pets as well, aren't we? What is coming next? I have noticed that the government has recently put up on its website, you know, about how COVID-19 has been confirmed in a pet cat. Oh, and then recently there's been findings of coronavirus in cat fleas. What is going to be next, Boris Johnson? What is going to be next from your criminal government? From your criminal government. You're going to start demanding that everybody euthanises the cats because they're a COVID threat? Or is it because actually there's no food? There's going to be no food to feed people's cats, is there? Because there's not even going to be any meat enough to feed British people. That's why your media and your Twitter and everything is promoting veganism like nobody's business. Well, I've been a vegan for 28 years and I advise everybody to go vegan on the strength of compassion, of compassionate living. But the fact is, you're not going to get everybody vegan, are you, before you pull out of the EU on your hard Brexit and suddenly meat is scarce. And suddenly there's no food for cats. Oh, suddenly, there you are, you've got it already, haven't you? Cats are going to become a COVID threat. Is that your next narrative? Is that your next narrative? We're going to be asked to kill our cats. Because we are dealing with criminals. You're a liar. You've lied repeatedly, right? And just because I would say a corrupt judge has decided that, oh no, you should not be prosecuted or held to account for your lies, you're allowed to lie and then go on to become Prime Minister and lie to the Queen and unlawfully prorogue Parliament and then be lawfully suspected of rigging an election to give yourself a landslide win and then pull Britain out of the EU, and then how many millions of people are going to lose their lives and livelihoods? A nation not only decimated already by 10 years of austerity, but a nation decimated now by the way you've handled COVID-19, by this Bill Gates directed World Health Organization. And it's packs of lies and scaremongering, viral medical xenophobia, that even professional doctors, everybody, the evidence is there, they're coming out. Get your fact checkers out to say that they're telling a pack of lies. Yeah, look, we see through it all, Boris Johnson. And, you know, I feel that there does need to be an investigation. I feel that you yourself have behaved criminally to the extent you've conspired. You know, if COVID-19 is such a threat because it could kill 1 million British people, okay, as is basically what your government was saying, and basically that's the power behind your ridiculous, unlawful coronavirus bill, right? Well, your Brexit threatens to kill far more. It threatens to cause far more devastation. And you've actually caused devastation and killed people in dealing with COVID-19. And now you want to dump the people into even worse austerity than that, with absolutely no hope. How many people are going to be driven to suicide? You know, how many doctors and nurses has your government already driven to suicide? We know it. Hundreds. It's been reported in the British press. Hundreds of doctors and nurses, NHS doctors and nurses, alarming rise in suicide rates among NHS staff. And still you did nothing. Still you actually voted down, your government, your party, voted down a 1% pay rise for British nurses. And cheered because you won the vote, because you won the right to deny a wage rise to a workforce that you literally been working to death and driving to suicide. Nurses having to queue up at food banks. How despicable. And really it is a testament to the power of the BBC and the power of this media that the British public have been so quiet for so long, but actually just struggling to stay alive, that the vast majority haven't even got time to think beyond what's being told them on the BBC. But do not think for 1 minute you will get away with this, because this goes right up to the highest authority on this planet, and that is Jar, okay? God, you know, God that your Queen, your crown corporate tax haven spins off. That she's head of the Church of England. What is the Church of England about if not about God and universal law and universal intelligence? And I have direct experience. I have direct experience of the devil of this world, and I have the direct experience of the golden light universal intelligence that created this whole planet and the universe. You want to call me mad? Well, I call you mad for standing by a man who claims that he's going to vaccinate the whole global population with an experimental gene editing vaccine. How dare you? What an abomination. An abomination of consciousness. And the guy, let's all bow to him, you know, because he's got such a high IQ. Well, I tell you now, your IQ test, it's defunct. It only tells half the story of human intelligence, and I'm here to tell the other half of the story of intelligence in compassion, the story of intelligence in care and consideration and respect for the law and rights of life. So there is going to be a protest. People are waking up to this now. You have declared war. It is a war. We have been under attack. Until finally, when you've pulled us out of the EU on your criminal Brexit. Renegaded on all the promises that you made. Shut down our NHS. And finally, when people realise, it'll be too late, won't it? For the British people, you think. Well, I appeal to every single British citizen from every walk of life. I tell you now that I am for real, okay? I'm not here for money. I'm here because the universe itself presented itself to me, okay? I'm nobody special. I've not got any special powers. I'm an ordinary British citizen sharing facts, information, intelligence, the other half of the story that you're getting from the BBC and the Guardian and all the crap of this world. They are not telling you like it is. Because this universe, the universal intelligence, does not want Cerinthus' evil revelations fulfilled. The universal intelligence gave the people free will, and the dead shall rise, okay? The people that your corporate law has judged dead, Boris Johnson, shall rise under the light of the law of this universe. The universal intelligence that gave us universal law of abundance in compassion and upholds all our rights. And we will repair the damages. We are needed. This earth loves us. This earth paid a heavy price for every single human being. And we are going to work for this earth, and we're going to have a living wage, and we're going to have homes, and we're going to live in abundance. We're not going to live in poverty under boots of Nazis and criminals and fascists and child abusers. And that's what I have to say to you, Boris Johnson. And even with all the despair, the despondency, the depression, the misery that you have inflicted on me, I don't hate you. I pray for you, soul. Forgiveness is there for everybody who has the courage and the strength and the power to repent and live righteously. So think about it, Boris Johnson. But either way, this is a crime and you do need to stand trial. There needs to be a public inquiry and investigations, because the damages now that threaten the British people on the strength of this lovely suspected rigged election, I'm sorry, no, this is far worse than anything that COVID could ever inflict.